We are going to switch over to time and highest dollar productive activity. And guess who's going to present?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Sorry, you guys, you get a lot of me today. So really quick, this came up when I was having a conversation with somebody that I hadn't spoken with in a while. And we were talking about something and he said, Rod, you talked about this with me probably 7 years ago, and it's had the greatest impact in my entire career. And I was like, what is it that I told you? And this is what he said. He said, let's see, how did he say it? The most successful people in the world suck at almost everything. They're just really good at one specific thing. It's not how much we do. And oftentimes as real estate agents, this is one of the biggest challenges that we have in our industry is that we're expected to do so many things. We've got to be actors on social media. We've got to be marketers on, getting our properties listed and marketed and exposed. We've got to be able to present at a really high level. We've got to be able to wear so many different hats. And the problem is, like they've always said, we can become a jack of all trades and a master of none, and we're going to suck at this, right? In fact, home staging, negotiations, we've got to be experts in so many things. And the problem is that when we try to be experts in all of these things, our productivity goes down, not up. We feel like we're doing a better job for our clients and we're actually doing a worse job for our clients. This was discovered several years ago as teams started to become important. I can promise you there's not an individual agent that can deliver the same client experience as a team because they can specifically master a certain section of it and have other people that are hired to master those other areas and deliver them a higher customer experience. We will never be able to outproduce a team in client experience. We can outproduce a team in profitability. So it's always important to pay attention to that and balance it. But here's what I want you to know. The key to being successful is not doing more things. It's doing fewer things and doing them more often. So if any of you guys have not yet had the opportunity to watch this, this is the number one video that I can ever recommend that as a business owner, you should watch. It is 90 minutes. You can listen to it, right? It's called Darren Hardy Shares Success Secrets of Super Achievers. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch that, go look it up on YouTube. Darren Hardy Shares Success Secrets of Super Achievers. You'll know you found the right one when you look at it. It's about 90 minutes long. So here's what I want you to know, and I'll let him steal the thunder. What I love about Darren is obviously he was a real estate agent before he was the editor of Success Magazine and before he opened his own consulting company that he's doing now. But he talked about how he sucked at golf. Melody realized after we got married that I suck at all things in the house. I can't fix shit. In fact, we get a light bulb that goes out. I've had one out in my office now for about 2 months. It's not getting changed unless it changes itself or we hire somebody to do it. I can do it. I just don't.
True
right?
story.
Why? Because I'm choosing purposefully where I'm going to invest my time. Let me tell you one of the worst things that my dad taught me, and I love my dad. My dad's an amazing guy, but one of the worst things my dad taught me was how to change the oil in my own car. Because anybody who's ever changed the oil in your car, you know this. You've got to get the right tool. You undo the oil pan screw. You get down there with a bucket. You gather all this old, black, nasty oil. If you're lucky and you're good at it, you don't get it all over you. I never was, so I usually get it all over me. After you get the oil in the bucket, you got to go ahead and change the filter. And then you got to go down to the store and get the right filter. And then you realize that you don't have the right filter removal tool, the little, tightener that tightens the damn oil filter. Anyways, then you've got to dispose of the oil. By the time you get done, guys, I don't care how good you are, you're hours into a project that I can drive down and pay somebody less than $50 for. Another thing that we're all doing that we should never do anymore is mow our own grass. You know what else we're doing that we should never do anymore is cleaning our own toilets. Here's why. This guy that I talked to is in Florida. What's interesting about him is in his first year in the business, he closed 66 transactions. His second year in the business, he closed 130 transactions. How did he pull off that feat? And he said, Rod, it came directly from, I'm going to take credit here. I was a rock star. I made this guy's business. Just kidding. All I did is I said, do fewer things, do them more often. He quit doing all the other stuff. He hired people to do it. He was prospecting on the phone, standing in front of a desk for 6 to 8 hours a day. This guy's no different than you or I. He is a normal human being. He has insecurities. He has, imposter syndrome all the time. But what he did is he prospected 6 to 8 hours every day and then went on appointments, and that's all he did. His business blew up. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to say it. He wasn't very scripted. His presentation was mediocre, but he had enough at bats that in the first couple of years, he became really, really, really good at having these conversations. We are all so focused on doing so many things. One of the things that Melody insisted on with our Santa event that I'm super grateful for, and I resisted because financially, I haven't been doing my job as well as I should. And so we've been really tight, obviously, during the holiday season. But she insisted on hiring a professional photographer to come out and film and video our event. I'm so grateful that she did because we now have some amazing social media content, marketing content, all of that kind of stuff. Gage, the photographer that Melody and I use, and you guys may know him, he's now created a series for an extra $30 a house. He does all of these social media templates, and your photos are automatically loaded with all this great, stuff that you can just instantly post, videos, walkthroughs, all this kind of stuff for 30 bucks. We need to stop doing everything, start doing fewer things, and start doing them more often. Now, the question is, what am I supposed to be doing? You need to figure out by doing a time audit, what is your highest dollar productive activity? So your highest per dollar, highest dollar per hour activity that you do. What do you think the number one highest dollar productive activity that we have in the real estate industry is? What's the number one thing?
List.
It's presenting. Yep. Whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, it's presenting. The best buyer models, if you guys are considering, growing a team, I know that's, looking at bringing somebody on. When you look at this, I want you to think about it. The old models aren't working anymore. Here's where you lose the lowest dollar productive activity that you will do in your business is showing a home to somebody that they're not going to buy. You only get paid to show them one house. It's the house they actually buy. So how do you get somebody to choose a house without you having to show them all of these houses? And the answer is you work on a showing agent, you hire a showing agent so that you're spending more time presenting and less time driving around the city and opening up doors. That's how you become better. How do you become better as a listing agent? You go on more appointments and you be willing to fail. One of the greatest things, one of the greatest gifts, now it's gift giving season. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is to fail more often, but don't just fail. Don't just go to the golf range and swing the golf club and never improve. Swing the golf club and have an instructor there that can critique you and help you improve. How do you do that in a listing presentation? Guys, you record your listing presentation and you send it to a coach. It's the same thing that Melody and I had to do. And yes, it was embarrassing. Yes, it was humiliating for a while. We sucked at our presentation. I still struggle. You guys have probably heard presentations that I haven't won. I still don't win them all the time. And there's still a ton of room to improve. And as the business has changed, I've had to change my listing presentation. So I want you to think about that. How can I do that? If I hired a coach at $1,000 a month, and that coach listened to my listing presentation and then jumped on a phone call with me and said, here's a couple of things that I would begin to tweak. How much faster would you get better? Going to the golf course and playing the club on your own versus going to the golf course, having a pro stand there and critique your swing and make improvements. How much faster do you improve when you hire somebody that's already been there, done that, knows how to deliver a great presentation? Is it worth $12,000 a year? Know how many transactions you have to sell to pay for a coach at $1,000 a month for an entire year? One. If over the course of a year, you sold one extra house, it pays for your entire coaching to have a pro stand there and critique your listing presentation. Make sure that your calendar is full. Make sure that you're being held accountable to the stuff that you said you wanted to do. I'm not pushing coaching. I'm pushing improvement and making your lives better. The difference between, say, an Elon Musk, right? Who, as far as I know, is in first place on the planet for making the most money. The difference between Elon Musk and myself is not the time we have in a day. We all have the same 1,440 minutes in a day. What is the difference between Elon Musk and me? It's how he invests those 1,440 minutes a day. So the question I would ask you guys is, why are you accepting mediocrity? Whether it's in your relationship, I always do that and then it freezes me. I don't even know how to stop it. That's fine.
Oh, there you go.
It's just like,
That was funny.
anyways, whether it's in our marriages, whether it's with our kids, or whether it's in our businesses, why do we continue to accept mediocrity in our lives when all it takes is a little bit of discipline and maybe hiring the right professional to stand over you and make sure that you're making improvements every single day? I know, look, God didn't send you to earth to be mediocre. We've all heard the parable of the talents, right? The guy that buries his talent and brings it back, the guy that goes out and risks it and loses it, or the guy that went out and turned it into many talents, right? We've all been given gifts down here on the earth, and we should be looking at our clients and figuring out how to share the gift that we have of real estate, the knowledge that we have, the understanding that we have to help make their lives better. If we're not doing that, we're like that guy that buried his talent and then showed back up and said, I didn't want to lose it. And he was cast out, right? You're an unprofitable servant. So think about that. Think about the gifts that you have. Think about what you were sent here to do. Think about how you can improve the lives of others. And the trick is, do fewer things and do them more often. So what are the activities that you need to focus on that are going to change your lives, the lives of your families, everything that you deserve? One of the biggest motivators for me was, you guys know I've got 6 kids, right? And I never wanted my kids to look at me and go, gosh, my dad was so smart. He could have done so much more. And he didn't, right? He didn't, for whatever reason, afraid of looking stupid, afraid of failing, or afraid of whatever it is. I never wanted my kids to look at me. I wanted them to believe that absolutely everything is possible. And I have proof of it because I've seen my parents do everything that they wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that they understood what was possible. Who are watching you? Who are the people that are watching you? Whether it's grandkids, whether it's children, whatever it is, what are you giving them?